Morning Stampers, I'm Meg from LovenStamps and I am excited to have you guys here for another Maker Morning with Meg. So we are going to talk about the evolution of a card this morning. So one of the questions that I get really regularly is, oh my gosh, how do you come up with ideas? How do you make a card? How do you take some paper and some stamps and a punch maybe and throw them all together and end up with something that is a greeting card at the end? So there's a segment that I like to do sometimes called reality crafting, where I don't know what the card is going to be when I start our video together. And you can look on my YouTube channel pretty easily to find those. It got a hashtag reality crafting, and you'll find a few of those. But today I'm not going to do reality crafting. I know what our card's going to look like at the end, but I'm going to walk us through the evolution of the card, of kind of what I was thinking when I started, and then how it changed as I went along to come up with our final version. So I hope it'll be useful to you guys in maybe kind of looking at your own card making process and seeing what works well for you. But I am going to, let's see, pop you guys up over here so I can see. Morning, Kathy and Teresa and Cindy and Elaine and so forth. I'm glad you guys are here. I'm going to pop you up on my computer too so I can see. All right, so the stamps that we're going to use today is Dragonfly Garden. Because it is sunny here finally, and we're inspired by beautiful flowers and a sunny day outside. I heard tons of birds singing yesterday. It just feels like spring is on its way. I know, like, knock on wood, it'd probably be a little bit cold again before then, but it made me want to pull out Dragonfly Garden. One of the things I love about this set, hey Marcy, hey Trish, is that it is bundled in the catalog with a punch, and always quick. This pretty dragonfly punch makes for a really quick card. In this whole suite though, it's called the Dandy Garden Suite, and there is another stamp set as well as designer series paper and trinkets and ribbon and so forth. So here's the Dandy Garden Suite. There we go. In the catalog, it's on pages 24 through 26 or 7 or something like that. Here are all of the different things, and you can see that there are 2 stamp sets. And actually, I showed a stamp set with the other, or showed a card with the other stamp set from Dandy Garden Suite. It was this one, which I shared a little while ago. And this uses celebration paper that is about to go away also. So, hey, Gian. So today I thought, you know what, I want to do Dandy Garden. Oh, see, my dog really wants to be outside too because it's sunny. I wanted to do Dandy Garden, but I also wanted to incorporate more of the Ombre Designer Series paper. And this is a celebration item, so it will be disappearing after February 28th. So you don't want to miss out on your chance to get this as one of your free items. And I decided to just grab a sheet of this. So it's ombre on some of the pages and dotted on some of the pages. And let's see, I think, are you guys ready to get started? Yay, I'm glad Trish is excited about this suite. Okay, I am going to get you guys settled down here. And oh my gosh, okay, my poor dog is clearly suffering from not being outside in the sun, so let me let her out. Yeah, go. She loves a sunny day like the rest of us, and a chance to kind of be out there and enjoy her sunshine. So I think she's a solar-powered dog for sure. All right, so we have our ombre paper here, and I thought, you know what, I'll use this as the full card base. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and cut this to 4 inches wide and set that aside, and then I'm gonna cut off for 5 1/4. So let's see, 5 1/4. I'm cutting off 3/4 of an inch at the top. So we have these scraps and we have this paper here, which I decided to keep the darkest so that there's a really wide contrast. I wanted just a little light, but a lot of dark, okay? And then the thought was, okay, we'll put this on a piece of Bermuda Bay as our background. All right, now, next thought is to bring back in Dragonfly Garden and the punch, but use this floral stamp here from the same stamp set and go ahead and stamp some background for us. So we're gonna have our background be this floral and our foreground be the dragonfly. Okay, so I want more than one of these. Now, if I stamp this again here, it's gonna be lighter, right? Because I've already stamped it once, which is great. But if I make it again right next to this and have this flower, I think this flower is going to be a little distracting, like, oh my gosh, that is the same stamp, stamped twice. So I'm actually gonna use my chamois, and I've just got my finger on the back here, and I'm going to pull the ink off from the top of that flower, okay? There we go. So now I can use this stamp again and have it not be quite so obvious. I'm gonna move it down a little bit, that I've just done exactly the same stamp. So you can kind of see the difference there. Let's see. Checking something really quick here. So you could just see the difference there, and that I've just moved down a little bit. Now I'm gonna do this one more time, and I'm just gonna kind of ink the bottom. I'm gonna stamp off because I want it to be light, and then I'm gonna pop this over here on the edge so that we've got just a little bit more there to fill the space, okay? All right, so we have a nice background here, and have this I'm gonna put behind. And then I thought, you know what? There's not a lot of contrast here between the sides of the ombre paper and the cardstock. So what I would really like to do is go ahead and trim this down so that I can put a piece of black cardstock behind it. So that's gonna give us a really nice contrast. So I'm gonna bring this back in here and I think trim this down by just 1/8 of an inch. So even smaller than I usually do 1/4 inch mats, but I'm gonna bring it down just by 1/8. So now it's 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, okay? And that, I think, will give us just the amount, there we go, just the amount of contrast that we need to really set this paper off, okay? All right, now usually I wait and glue everything at the end, but I kind of know where I'm going here, so I feel safe in putting this down. Although sometimes when I'm stamping with you guys, I change up my plan. Now you could put this on dimensionals. I'm just gonna go ahead and glue it to our card front. Always smush from the back side, so I never wanna wipe my hand across ink. Even if you think it's dry, it's just always safest to smush from the back side. That's the technical term for adhering card layers there. All right, morning, Kay. Okay, so now we have our dragonfly, and I'm gonna ink him in the same color. And my first thought was, I'm gonna put him on Whisper White. And then I thought, you know what, that's gonna be really, really harsh on this pretty ombre paper. So what if instead of using the white cardstock, I use my ombre paper? And I'm gonna put him kind of up here. So I wanna use the darkest of the ombre paper so that it really contrasts with the light on the background. So I'm going to stamp my dragonfly up here on my ombre and pop this in. Good morning in North Carolina, Pam. All right, oh, this is kind of a common problem here. So I've put my punch piece on just a little bit too close. So I'm gonna trim that off and pop it on from this side. And I'm gonna pop this on here. Now, my friend Katie Katie Senkarek shared a really cool tip the other day. She said, if you have trouble positioning your paper inside your punch, use your take your pick tool. So let's see. I kind of like this tip. All right, so I'm gonna flip this around. There we go. And just, it's good for fine tuning. There we go. Okay, got it settled. There we go. So when I'm punching, I always like to grab my paper with my hand just by squeezing just a little bit. So, oh, geez. Well, usually squeezing just a little bit to hold my paper in place, then clearly not the best choice to keep talking and waving it around, but I'm gonna get it really close there. Okay, now I grabbed it by squeezing just a little, and then I like to take both hands and use both hands to finish punching out. So, all right, so this now is a really nice contrast with the rest of our paper. So now I need a greeting, and I was thinking that I would bring in the thank you for your kindness greeting, which is from the same set. There are a whole bunch of other greetings that are the same font types in Garden Wishes. So if you have both, you're really extending your choices on greetings available. And I'm gonna grab a piece of scrap paper here and go ahead and stamp my thank you for your kindness. Now, I kind of put it in the middle because I wasn't exactly sure which punch I was gonna use for my greeting, but I finally decided to go with the tailored label punch. And I was kind of trying to decide where to put this. So do I center for your kindness? No, I think I center thank you. Okay, I didn't quite put it down far enough, but pretty close. So I'm gonna center the thank you part, and the for your kindness is sort of justified to the left. So, all right. I'm not gonna worry about the fact that I missed the tip because I'm not actually, spoiler alert, not actually gonna use this. All right, so this was gonna go here, and then I have my butterfly, and I just thought, you know what? It doesn't quite feel anchored. Like my greeting is feeling a little floaty. So what if I did something a little different? And then I started to look for some inspiration, and I found this card, which is one of the ones that demonstrators had the chance to make as part of our, here's the envelope, as part of our On Stage at Home, so the Stampin' Up! Convention online version, since we're not gathering. And that reminds me also to say, if you are a demonstrator and you would like to attend Stampin' Up's on Tour event, it is coming up, and I think today, the 24th, yep, today's the last day to register. So make sure you don't miss out on that. Or if you're excited about the idea of online stamping events, you could sign up to be a demonstrator today, join my LovenStamps team and still attend. But in any case, I kind of like the idea of this panel here. So I decided to bring that into my card a little bit by adding my greeting here on a strip. And I'm gonna ink this up again. I'm gonna check to make sure that my stamp is mounted straight, which it pretty much is. I might have to tilt it just a little bit to the side. And that was too much, so I'll flip this over and tilt it less. Okay, there we go. All right, so now I have my thank you for your kindness. Now this felt a little too much. So I'm gonna trim this down so that it's not quite so much giant white space on there. So I'm gonna pop this back in my trimmer and trim the top and trim the bottom. Okay, so we have something that's a little bit more in scale with our dragonfly, and there, I like that much better. So you see how we're kind of evolving our card as we go along. I had an idea in mind, but as I kept building, I kept changing things. Now, I also want to add another dragonfly to kind of incorporate that same pattern again. So I'm gonna make this guy kind of come down here at the bottom. So just his tail, and that's going to pop here, and then we have our dragonfly here. Okay, so see how we're kind of moving along? I'm gonna go ahead and pop this element on there. There's our crooked stamping one. And then I'm going to add our dragonfly here with a Stampin' Dimensional. And this guy here will fit here. Now, one of the things that I love about this suite is the little ladybug trinkets that go along with them. Can you guys see these guys here? They are little brass ladybug trinkets, which is nice because they match the Dandy Garden suite really well, but they also are very flexible as a metallic neutral. So I wanted to put a couple of these on there and decided to pop them here and maybe one out here in the little planty stuff. Okay, so my favorite way to attach those is with the glue dots. They are perfectly sized to go under our trinkets, the ladybug trinkets. So I'm gonna pop that on there and then grab another one. And the easiest way to use glue dots is to pop your embellishment or paper onto the roll and then peel it off with the glue dot and pop it onto your card. So, all right, so there is our evolution of our card. So I started with a piece of the designer series paper, the Oso Ombre. I chopped it so we had that nice black border, and I repeated some stamping in the background. I repeated our elements with our dragonflies, and I came up with a greeting solution that really helped to anchor our focal point. When I had it kind of set this way with one here and one here, there was a little bit of kind of an imbalance, right? Wait, is the greeting the focal point? Is the dragonfly greeting, dragon? It's too, it's unsettling, very vaguely unsettling. So now we have a clear focal point on our card. So I think that this card would be absolutely beautiful in another colorway, don't you? So here is the Granny Apple Green version of the same card. And this is actually the one that I came up with first. So I really wanted to use the green because it's such a pretty complement for the gardeny things. But in turquoise or Bermuda Bay, it worked well. I bet it would be really gorgeous in Rococo Rose, and also in, where's our last paper color? And also in Blackberry Bliss. I think that really you could make this card in any of these. And this is one of the things I love about the Oso Ombre Designer Series paper as a celebration gift. It comes in all these colors, which means that you can kind of make whatever card you want any time over, so that you get all the variety of all of those. So once you come up with a design you like this one here, you could do with the blues and the greens and so forth. This one you could do with the blues and the greens. Any of these could be swapped out for the other colorways. So, all right. Let's see. Yeah, Trish says that she likes that color. Hey, Sandy. Okay, so today's project talked a little bit about evolution of a card and how we would put all these pieces together and sort of adjust things as we go to come up with the final design that we really like. And if you find these tips helpful, I hope that you will let us know. But also maybe try incorporating them in some of your own stamping. So when you're looking at a card and you think, yeah, it's just not quite right. What does it need? Did it need an outline so that you have an outline around your card that gives you a really nice color separation to set something off, like we added with our ombre? Did it need a repeated element like we added with our background? That one strip of flowers was just a little weak, so adding that sort of background version really strengthened that part of our card. Or did it need a stronger focal point, which is what we did when we switched out our punched piece for our card. And absolutely, you could take this and you could layer this on top and have one more layer if you wanted to. So I kind of like it without the punched piece. I think the simple look is a little bit more in line with the card, but yeah, you could definitely layer this on here with some Stampin' Dimensionals and make that version too. So, you know what, just take a look at your card and figure out what's bugging you. Sorry, I couldn't help it. And go from there. So good. I'm glad you'll use the tips, Trish. All right, so that is our Maker Morning Wednesday. Happy Hump Day to you also. And yeah, I will look forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow for another Maker Morning with Meg. And if you haven't watched all the videos all along, there are a zillion great ones. You can go back and check along. The supplies for today's projects are in the video description, whether you're watching now on Facebook or you're watching the replay on YouTube. So check for those shopping links, and also a link to more celebration ideas. So if you're right at the end, we only have a couple days. Celebration ends on February 28th. If you're looking for just a couple last minute ideas, then you would want to go ahead and click over to my blog and look for some of those other ones that I've already shared. So, all right, guys. Oh yeah, Trish says you could even back the punch with black paper to add another layer and make it stand out too. So lots of good ideas. Have a wonderful day, and I will look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Happy stamping.